Today, we are live here from Aussizz Group, Melbourne, and my name is Diljan Singh, and with me is Mr. Kamaljeet Singh. We are both registered migrant agent working with Aussizz Group, and today we are here to give you some updates regarding the recent Victoria invitation round that has happened today, and moreover, we will give you some updates with the prospective changes that are coming into place in the near future. So before we go on to those changes and what we can expect in the coming year or coming months, to be precise, we would just touch on that a bit later on. Before we're going, I'll just welcome Mr. Kamaljeet, and welcome, Kamaljeet. How are you today?
Thank you, Diljan. Thanks for having me on this video chat with our clients through Facebook and all different streams. So yes.
Yeah, so like I was mentioning, that to the topic we are covering is basically the changes that are coming into place and what we have heard from the Department of Immigration. But before we go on to that, I would just like to tell our viewers that we had an invitation round for Victoria, and I would just like to ask you, so what are your thoughts on the invitation we have received, and what are the occupations, and how has the Victorian government gone about it?
So yes, guys, today we had seen invitation round given by Victoria, which is a pre-invitation round for 190. We have seen occupations, Mr. Diljan, in regards to enrolled nurses. For one of our enrolled nurses, the invitation was given for 491, assuming the candidate was not able to secure 65 points by themselves. Other occupations which we were surprised to see were accountants.
Okay.
So we have seen accountants now being invited on 90 points individual. So we can see there, that Victoria has started, giving invitations to accountants. But what we are trying to see there is, Diljan, that, maybe Victoria is trying to follow this trend where candidates have, superior English.
Okay.
Plus the candidate is having a skilled partner.
Okay.
So whosoever is getting 10 points from their skilled partner, alongside they have superior English, we are seeing Victoria is giving invitations to those candidates. So I assume in coming, these weeks, because the ROI has been closed now, so we might be seeing more invitations being given to the candidates who are having skilled partner or Australian PR citizen partners.
Right. So I was just about to touch on that here, because like we have seen candidates sitting at higher points, and we were basically trying to understand, that what is the criteria, how the Victorian government is using, and we have, based on the recent invitation and the profile of the candidates, come to some sort of not a conclusion, but some sort of a hint we have got that they are looking for skilled partners. And because obviously they would have two skilled employees at one invitation, and that's a good thing for people, those who are married and have skilled partners, because normally we tend to think that if somebody is single, they have the advantage of getting 10 points. But again, once they get married, or the partner is doesn't have that English skill, so obviously it's a loss to them. But if you have, if you put a bit of effort and try to get 60 the first place, and then obviously if you have a skill, that's a bonus. But again, looking at occupations, you said accountants, obviously it's always been that people have said, okay, there's very less scope for accountants. So with what we have seen today, it gives them hope. And what do you think, what are the other occupations apart from like the critical sector we are saying, like medical and IT sectors? What are the other things that we have seen today?
See, Diljan, the other occupation I was just going to mention was software engineer. So again, Victoria is not going that far out, from the occupation which have been previously invited, considering teachers, nurses, enrolled nurses. But yeah, they have still not invited any kind of trade occupations. On their website, they've already mentioned that when it comes to the chef category, they will be focusing on 491 only. Okay. But yeah, in regards to all other trade occupations, we haven't seen like any invitation given for 190. For 491, we are again expecting that Victoria will be coming up with those kind of invitations, but we are not sure whether they're going to be giving invitations to trade. But looking from the past sort of experience, it doesn't seem like they will be inviting trade occupations. But yeah, another occupations, as we've mentioned, which will be related to digital, manufacturing, engineering. So all those sectors we still believe would be invited.
Okay. And like we are in the end of May, and like for the financial, there's still 1 month to go. So do you expect us one more round before we close for today, for this year, or what do you think?
See, I'm assuming we still have 1 month.
Yep.
We at least, I'll probably say at least 2 more rounds.
Okay.
You know, yes, because we have seen that Victoria does gives at least 2 rounds in a month. So we are assuming at least two or I can't say 3, but at least
2, yeah.
at least 2 rounds for this financial years. Yes, let's hope.
All right, viewers. So I think that is positive news, because many of you may have lodged your ROIs and waiting to hear from the department or the state, to be precise. And again, I would say, like Kamaljeet had mentioned, that we may have a couple of more rounds to go for this year. So obviously, those who have not yet received an invitation, be hopeful, and maybe you will be lucky in the next round. All right. So is there anything we would like to add up on this Victorian round that has happened, or move on to the next one?
Yeah, see, Diljan, we always try to educate clients, just keep an eye on your, spam emails. We have seen many candidates losing their invitations just because they were not aware that the pre-invitation has been given, and the email went to their spam folder, and they were not able to, again, then it's a bit of a hassle to try and connect with the state and try to give them the reason and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But yes, I'll probably say wait a little bit more for IT sectors. We assume there might be more invitation rounds for sectors related to engineering. We might see another invitation round as well.
All right. Since we are talking about this ROIs and EOIs, so obviously, like we have always mentioned that whenever somebody is launching it, if now or in the future, always be careful of what you are claiming points for and what the information you're providing. So it's always advisable to get professional advice, and we would always recommend that you contact your migration agent and get help, instead of trying to save money and then facing the consequences. So that's the good thing. Okay, we just wait for some more rounds, and then moving on to our topic of the day, regarding the changes of what we expect from the departments. So if you go on to the review of the migration system, what they have announced and what we have read about. So the first question that obviously the information we heard was that they will be try to basically recalibrate the point test for select migration. So what do you think? What are their plans, or what are the things they are looking at?
See, in regards to the point system, what we are trying to understand here is maybe they're going to be making changes in regards to the point system. I'm not sure whether they're going to be relying more into salary or whether they're going to rely more on experience, but we will definitely according to the sort of the statement which the minister had given, we assume that there might be slight change in the point system for all sort of visas.
All right, so we would just have to wait and see what they come up with, whether they are focusing on your experience, or they're focusing on the minimum salary you're earning. So we will just come to know a bit later on, but obviously there are thoughts and there's a process that is going on. So moving on, we've even heard, if you talk about the employer sponsored, because we have seen that there's a lot of talk about labor shortages, and in that regards, the employment basically for employer sponsored visas. So we have heard that they may remove the requirement for the labor market testing. So what do you think? How will this impact, or will it benefit?
See, I'll probably say, Diljan, if they are planning to remove this labor market testing, I'll probably say it's a sort of a beneficial step which the department would take upon, because we have seen candidates who have been working with the same employer from, at least 1 to 2 years, and it was pretty, sort of we were not able to understand why department is coming up with this LMT sort of requirement with those particular candidates.
Okay.
So we always advise, that still, in coming future, the statements are made, when they're going to implement is the question.
Yeah.
Yes, but it is a sort of a positive sort of step if they are removing any kind of, extra expense for the employer to take out this labor market testing.
Yeah, absolutely. Even many of us, we are even confused with this sort of a process, because in most cases, when the employee is basically working with the same employer for a period of time, and they require his services, so they are basically decided on, sponsoring the particular person. But even then, they have to go through this process. So it's obviously, we can't understand exactly what the thought is behind this, but that's immigration, and then obviously we have to live with that, and there's no things, nothing we can say about that. So basically, again, before we move on to the other information or other discussions, so we would just like to take a few comments that we have received. So the comment which we have, the first one is from Sandeep Rar, and he says, "Hi sir, why visa processing is slow nowadays? Please explain. Thanks in February and March it was fast." So yeah, obviously.
See, Sandeep, because we should understand that when it comes to visa processing, it totally relies upon the number of applications which have been submitted to the department. Given that in December and remember when the rounds were given, 35,000 candidates were invited. You can see it's a huge sort of invitations which were given by the department. So the more applications went into the department, which will delay the process when there are less sort of these applications. I'll give you an example. When the 491 visa was introduced, the candidates started getting invites, we were seeing that like the 491 being granted within 45 days or even 1 month. But as soon as the applications start building up, piling up, you will see that department starts taking long. So it's all relying upon how many applications have been submitted to the department. But you can always check processing times for particular visas on the department's website.
All right. Thanks, Kamaljeet, for answering the question. Yes, obviously, immigration processing times change with the number of applications. Like we have already seen that they are running short of, people to basically look at the application, and there are a lot of applications. So like we have already answered Adil's question that, any other round before July, but for Western Australia, we're not sure. What do you say?
See, I'll probably say Western Australia has been one of those favorite states who have invited candidates from offshore and from interstates when it comes to 491 application and 190 applications as well. So I'll probably expect another invitation, at least one of the invitation round from Western Australia. But again, it totally relies upon the the state, how many seats they are left upon with.
Absolutely.
And then what kind of occupation they are preferring, and all those kind of things will be a huge factor as well before they will be giving another invitation round.
All right. He's basically just moving on. What he's saying is that medical lab technician. So obviously we're talking about the profession in Western Australia. So what he's saying is that it's basically a medical lab technician at 75 points. My wife is skilled, but IELTS has expired. So no points for partner skills.
See, when we are talking about medical occupations, we have seen the candidates being invited on 65 points as well, but depending upon which state the candidate is living in, we always advise, if you do have a partner who you believe that has got that kind of skills where he or she can provide you those extra 5 to 10 points, we always recommend to get those extra points, because as I've previously mentioned to Diljan, we are trying to study this pattern which Victoria is following, where a candidate is having a superior English, and moreover the candidate is being invited who has got skilled partner points 10. So yes, I'll advise you to you make sure that you should be at least trying to get your skilled partner points as well.
Right. All right, so moving on, friends, I hope you're enjoying this session, and the next question is from Tina, and says, I've been waiting with 95 points for 190 in Victoria as an architectural draft person.
See, Tina, when it comes to that sort of an occupation, we have seen that Victoria has always given preferences to health sector and moving forward towards IT and then engineering sector when dealing with manufacturing sort of occupations. Your occupation being architectural draft person, relying upon the construction industry, I'll probably say, your points are good. It's always better. Again, in coming next financial year, we are not sure whether, again, Victoria is going to follow this pattern. But if you're a single candidate, we have, as I've already spoken, that we are seeing that Victoria is trying to give preference to a single candidate only for health sector. But if you are a skilled candidate with partner, there are high chances you might be getting the invite. If you've submitted your ROI, we might have to wait.
All right. Thanks, Kamaljeet, for answering Tina's question. And just moving on to the first question regarding Western Australia, he's asking that his tourist visa was refused recently, and will that refusal impact on his student visa, or can he apply for a student in the first place?
All right. If your tourist visa has been refused on the basis, I believe it was a GTE criteria, similar basis will be similar grounds will be set upon for your student visa as well. So I'll probably say, when you are saying, will it impact my student visa? Application doesn't impact. more or less what the things will be impacting is your GTE criteria when it comes to a student visa, whether you are a genuine temporary entrant. Again, while we are discussing this situation, Diljan, you want to mention about the the student test. I think we were talking about that they are coming up with rather than the GTE criteria.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, we'll probably educate you on this, guys, as well. In the migration program review, we have seen that the minister has announced that this GTE thing, where the discretion power was given to the case officer, relying upon how they're gonna get this assessment done for a particular candidate. It will be taken over by this sort of a program where it's gonna be a test for a student. Now we are not aware what kind of test is it. What we are assuming is the case officer or the delegate of the minister is gonna be contacting the student and having some information, trying to understand why he or she is choosing this course.
Yep.
So yes, which is a good sort of, I'll probably say, decision which department has made, rather than just giving the power to the case officer and saying, okay, I feel like you're not genuine and refusing the visa. This would be fair enough, as Australia has been a fair country. This step taken towards that, the student must clear the student test will give us sort of a fair
chance,
outcome. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. All right. So moving on to our next question is from Manish Kumar, and he says, hello, sir. This is what is the requirement study in nursing, like funds, +2 marks or any fees? And after completion of PR, is it easy?
All right, Manish, your question is in regards to student visa, I assume, what kind of qualification, what kind of English requirement we can educate you is you will require minimum 7 each. Now, again, every case is assessed on the basis of their own facts and merits when it comes to, university giving you admissions. So we'll probably, if you can, leave your email address or something so that our student visa team can contact you, and they will be educating you more on what are the requirements when it comes to the academic, percentage and IELTS and financial capacity, what has to be met so that you can enroll further into your nursing course. In regards to PR pathways, yes, a registered nurse is in the MLTSSL list, which means a medium, long-term, high-demand list. We should say that. And health occupations are one of those occupations which every state has been, inviting the candidates upon. So you'll be fine.
All right, thank you, Kamaljeet. And I'm sure you've got your answer regarding that question. Yeah, like you said, obviously, if it's regarding studies, send us, leave your contact details, and our team will get in touch with you. And obviously, we can help you with that. And moving on to the next question is from Shankar, and he's saying that my wife, she's a teacher and she's on tourist visa, and we have started with skill assessment.
Okay, Shankar Dabra, that's good. I should probably say, I didn't understand the question, whether it's a question or whether he's telling us. So if you're telling us, it's all good. If you're asking us that you can start this or not, yes, if your candidate is eligible, then we can probably proceed with the skill assessment requirement, given that you will be required IELTS 8778 in IELTS academic in only one test. Retest at the moment are not being acceptable by AITSL, which is your skill assessment authorities.
All right, thanks, Kamaljeet, for that. And moving on to the next question, it's from Nihal, and it says, any idea how much points for marketing specialist in New South Wales? 190.
See, again, Diljan, New South Wales has been one of those states which were educated by the Department of Home Affairs that how a candidate should be invited. They had made this ridiculous sort of requirement of 3 years of work experience, 2 years of work experience, for most of the occupations. And when department made a rounds in end of the year, which was 35,000 plus, then they suddenly woke up and they said, oh, we're gonna take out this requirement, and basically they realized that the things which you are doing on is more or less, not acceptable, but again, the power relies totally upon the state, given that marketing specialist, what we are expecting will be invited on 90 to 95 points, because the New South Wales states, they always take the cream profile. It's more or less not the requirement, it's more or less they want to always choose the best of the best candidate. Even on their website, they have mentioned that is not a guarantee process that you'll be invited. So you should always seek an alternate option when it comes to lodging your New South Wales EUI.
Thank you. And I think that answers the question. And moving on, I think she's clarified the question we were not able to understand. It said, my wife is a secondary teacher and she's on a tourist visa, and we started the process of skill assessment. Can we take study visa or should we wait for 190 or 189? Basically, yeah.
All right. So, Shanky, first of all, I think his name is Shanky.
Shanky.
It's a pretty cool name. His name is Shanky. So yes, Shanky, first of all, I'll probably say it's a very good to be positive. You're very positive in your comments that, should we wait for a 190 or a 189? Now, given that if you started your skill assessment process, AITSSL is not that fast in giving the outcomes for the skill assessment. And I'll probably advise you, if your partner is on a tourist visa and the stays for 3 months, we might have to seek alternate visa options, okay? Because it's not a guaranteed thing that, okay, once you've got a skill assessment, you're going to be getting an invitation next, next day even. So it's always a process, Diljan, that we have to follow. That I'll advise you that you always seek an alternate visa option. If you are planning to go on to 190 and 189, we should not be, relying more upon visitor visa. That's the process.
All right, Shanky, like Kamaljeet have informed. So obviously, if your stay is for 3 months, obviously then you have to look for the visa options. Otherwise, you'll have to go abroad and come back next time. Otherwise, obviously, if you have a 12-month stay on a tourist visa, in that case, it's still pretty much enough time for you to wait for, and then decide what you're going to do. But yeah, if it's 3 months, it's not enough. All right, so moving on to the next question, he said that I've been waiting with 95 points in Victoria for 190 as an artist doctor. I think, is that the same one? Or?
Yes, same person.
Yeah, same. I think he's just put in a bit more details on that. It seems there's no hope to get invitation as the focus is on other industries. Can I submit EOI for Western Australia from Victoria? Heard they want to put building and construction industry related occupation on priority list.
See, again, Tina, if you've studied in Victoria, you are living and working in Victoria, I should not be that negative when it comes to, thinking about Victoria will invite you or not. They are giving preferences to health sector. We are, we know that, but as you can see, they were giving an invitation to registered nurses previously. Then they also started giving invitations to enroll nurses. So you can see that nurses are now finished. So like how many nurses they're gonna invite? Like 5,000? No.
Absolutely.
Yes. So practically, if you are, trying to do the maths, you can see that, most of the nurses who might have completed their studies have already been invited. Then they went on to enroll nurses. So there will be certain occupations, like we have accountants being invited now, and most of the times, a candidate who has done accounting himself doesn't even feel like they have any kind of a hope. But it's always good to lodge your ROI because they are reviewing each and every single ROI on their own sort of factors, and they're inviting the candidates. So I'll probably still advise you to wait until this end of the financial year. Let's see what the new requirements going to come up with, and then we go on from there.
All right, thanks, Kamal. Moving on to the next question is from Diljan Singh, and he says, I've heard that ACS is taking too long these days. Do we see any change in the timelines?
See, Diljan Singh, unless your visa is expiring in next 90 days is the only process where we can request ACS to prioritize your application, or else we do understand it's sort of a ridiculous period, which ACS is taking 10 to 12 weeks. Like, I don't even know, some people have submitted their applications on the basis of professional year.
Absolutely.
What else you want to check? Like, why it should take us 10 to 12 weeks just checking that whether this guy has completed professionally or not. But again, we can debate on this matter all day. But at the moment, yes, they are taking a ridiculous amount of period, which is 10 to 12 weeks. The second factor could be because so many invitations were given. We are seeing that even the offshore candidates, have started making applications for the ACS. So the workload might have increased, and that's why assessors have gone busy. That might be one of the reasons that they are taking long. But we don't think so. There are going to be any changes soon in the the processing time period.
Absolutely. So obviously, it's not a good news to hear, but again, that is a fact that because like you told, if it's something related to with employment verification, we can understand that it may take time because somebody has some overseas experience, or they have to tally all the bank statements. But with professionally, for example, it looks like a simple process, and I think they should not be taking that long. But again, that is ACS, and that is their way of working, and we can only hope that it improves, and then everything is a bit quicker. All right, moving on to the next question is from Manish Kumar again, and it says, best healthcare course which is PR possible easy.
Nursing.
Nursing, yeah.
Everybody likes nursing. If you don't like nursing, we can go into sort of a field which is more relating into technicians related to lab, as lab scientists and stuff. If you are not into that, we can move on to social work or teaching. But yeah, at the moment we can say nursing is one of the best health related course when it comes to PR pathways.
Yeah, so just adding on to that question, like normally what we have seen, it's sort of this. So every year we come up with sort of a trend, that if you get an invitation for a certain occupation, everyone is going towards that occupation. So it becomes a bit saturated, So what do you think? Is there a possibility of this medical sector being saturated as a very time soon, or not yet?
See, what happens is, Diljan, that that like it depends upon the state. They are investing money in health sector. We are requiring nurses in our aged cares.
Yep.
So again, when sometimes we have seen people will get permanent residency and then they will go a little bit lazy on their occupations, and still vacancies will start coming up.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's not that easy job. It's very hectic. Family time is not there. We have heard from the candidates. So sometimes once you get permanent, you start prioritizing yourself and start giving time to your family.
Absolutely.
And that vacancy comes up. So yes, it relies upon supply and demand.
Supply and demand, absolutely.
Yes, how much demand is for the health sector, but of course, because it's related to humans, when it comes to eating food or maintaining your health, these occupations will stay in demand. I'll probably say that.
All right, thank you for that. And now moving on to the next question, is from Praveen. It says, my student visa for USA revoked in 2015. I'm thinking to apply for a student visa for Australia. Will it cause any problems, and how is it in the IT market in Australia?
See, again, USA revoked in 2015. I'm assuming he's saying refused in 2015. I'm thinking to apply for student for Australia. Will it cause any problems? See, again, the student visa totally relies upon GTE criteria. Whether the case officer, sees it that way, whether you are a genuine temporary entrant or not. So the factors will kick in. Okay. But more or less, it will also rely upon your employment, also rely upon what you have been doing since you completed your studies, and all those factors. If they are, successfully met, there are chances for getting the, visa granted. So
like if it says it's revoked, if it's cancelled, does that have any other impact, or it's just like?
See, yes, if it has been cancelled, why it was cancelled, and now given that it was revoked, that means that cancellation was overturned by the minister. So it will be a lot of many factors whether that person is genuine or not, because why would a visa get cancelled first of all?
Absolutely.
And if you can get your visa cancelled in some other country, of course you're gonna get your visa cancelled in this country as well.
Yes, possibly.
Yes, that's how they're gonna judge things.
Okay. Moving on to the next question, it's from Saim, and he wants to know any chances of electrical engineering for 119 Victoria.
See, engineering sector has always been, I'll probably say third preference after health and IT. There are chances, but depending upon how many points you are sitting on, do you have a skilled partner, what kind of salary you are holding, a lot many factors will kick in. But yes, there are chances. But again, these are the factors which Victoria are going to take into consideration before inviting candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. We should not forget that every state has its own number of allotted seats for invitations, and as long as they have those seats available, there will be chances for everyone to be getting invited. But again, once the seats are exhausted, irrespective of how many points or where you're sitting at, so for that financially, it's basically there won't be much hope in that sense. But obviously, it depends on the seats, and we don't have the data to say how many seats are left. But we would always love to be hopeful, and think that there would still be some space for you to be getting an invitation. Okay, on that hopeful note, moving on to the next question. It's from Oscar, and he says that I'm on a student visa. Can I go back to student visa, and will it be approved? So obviously, I'm not sure how can we answer that approval.
Okay, so he's saying I'm on a COVID visa. Can I go back to student visa and it's be approved? So I believe the question he's asking is, okay,
Will it
I'm on a
be-
COVID visa, I'm gonna apply student
Student
visa.
visa, yeah. Will it be approved? That's what he wants to know.
See, well, again, if you believe that you are meeting that GTE criteria, there are factors, where the case officer is going to assess your criteria. So if you are meeting those factors and you can satisfy those factors, there are chances, or else they will end up refusing your visa.
Okay. Thanks, Kamaljeet. That's been very helpful today. A lot of questions coming in today, and I hope people are getting the answers, and keep sending in your questions, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So moving on to the next one, that is from Rajesh. Thanks, Rajesh, for joining and sending in your question. And he says that if someone has an education from UK, what are the job opportunities in supply chain management in Australia? What are the quality of life? So basically, nothing to do with immigration. Basically just wants an update on his job thing, and then he will decide. So what do you say on this?
See, Rajesh, Australia is a beautiful country. It has a nice weather, nice beaches. You will have, like 4 seasons in a day when it comes to Melbourne, good job opportunities. So basically you want me to praise Australia. That's what I'm doing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. Again, beautiful people, nice pay rate, and, you can go camping, drink beer, eat meat, and relax. So yes, quality sort of life is best because it's less population. The country is growing, and when we are comparing with the other countries which are being overpopulated, Australia is way more still better. So yes, in regards to job opportunities, it totally relies upon the employers.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yes, there are huge job opportunities, especially post pandemic, while we are coming through this recovery. Different states are trying to get on back to the stage where they believe they should support the community. So there are chances. Yes.
All right. That was a good way of appreciating the country we live in, and I hope anyone listening would love to come to Australia. All right, moving on to the next one. It's from Reed, and I'm not sure whether he or she, but he's saying any chance of with 70 points of private tutor.
Yes. See, again, this particular occupation, we have already seen candidates being invited. So if you've got the skill assessment already, and you have applied for 491, there are chances you will be getting the invitation in this particular occupation.
All right. Thank you. And the next question from Leo, and he wants to know that I've just lost a career visa subclass 836, and just wondering how do I know if I have been assigned a case officer, and also how long approx it can take to be granted.
See, first of all, Leo, in regards to how do you know that you have been assigned a case officer, you should talk to your nearest, whoever the registered migration agent who has helped you with your application. If you have lodged the application by yourself, and you haven't heard anything back from the department yet, that means no case officer has been allocated.
Yeah.
In regards to the processing time period, you can move on to the department's website and click on processing time period for the visas. You'll be having your answer from there.
All right. All right. Thanks. Moving on to the next question. It's from Naveen Chetri. Thanks, Naveen, for joining. And he wants to know that what are the chances for 190 with 70 points in computer network and system engineers. And I think before you go, I ask you, it's going to be very, very low. And but you can elaborate on that.
No, that's right. That's right, Diljan, because 70 points are way too low. We'll probably ask you to at least jump on to 80. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that Victoria is focusing more on the candidates who are having superior English. So if you are not having superior English, there are chances less that they will be inviting you. But again, if you are holding, experience, so experience, points, salary are the factors which Victoria is, weighing the candidates upon. So
what do you recommend? Like he said, he's asking for 70 on 190. Do you recommend he should apply for 491 or just increase his points and go for 190?
See, he's already too late to apply for 491 now. This financial year. Yes. So I'll probably advise him to, increase his points.
Yeah, okay.
And then, the rest is upon the state how they're going to assess, because it's a competitive process.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Kamaljeet. And I hope everyone is getting the answers from Kamaljeet. If you have any queries, you want to come in person and meet us, you can definitely book an appointment and visit us at the Collins Street branch of Aussizz Group or your nearest Aussizz Group branch. Moving on to the next question is from Jatin Patel. And he said, what about those studying advanced diploma? Can they get 485 after 1st July?
See again, the changes which were made, Diljan, were basically until this financial year end.
Yeah.
We are still waiting on the requirements to be changed for 485. You know, we hire again. It depends upon the department how they're gonna assess this,
Yeah.
or whether they're gonna come up again with the same situation.
Yeah.
But we will have to wait until that instrument to be cleared and the requirements to be passed on to
Yep.
see how the department's gonna come up with.
Yeah, so like we are talking about the rules being applicable till 30th of June. But again, if you go back or look at the requirements for the PSA, so 360 hours, which has been removed, so we
Yes.
are not even sure whether that's going to come back and how it will impact. But everyone, there are a lot of candidates, those who are in this situation and not sure whether they will be able to apply, but we'll have to just wait and see what are the new requirements. Maybe they may be extended, or maybe maybe they may give some new sort of a pathway. So, but we'll have to wait and see, but we don't have any definite sort of answer at this moment. All right. And the next, next question is from Ranjit, and he just wants to know about the 1 at 10 processing time. And like Kamaljeet just mentioned earlier, just go onto the website and look up there, and you will have the processing times. And I think that is the best possible place to know your answer, rather than repeating the same thing on here. All right. Next, moving on, it says, hello, what are the chances for a computer networks? Maybe in engineering, it's not mentioned, but yeah, 74 points, including state for 491 Western Australia.
See, as I previously mentioned, Diljan, that Western Australia did invite a lot many candidates for 491. There are still chances if you have submitted your EUI. We are expecting at least 1 to 2 more rounds from the state. And then let's see how the state's going to react upon. So yes, just leave your EUI and wait for it, and then we go from over there.
All right. Moving on. So it's Kamaljeet Singh again for the question and the answer as well. So he's saying that any chance for ICT system analyst 190 Victoria working in the field, having 120K packages, 190 80 points.
See again with the business analyst, you are saying that you have got 120K package is very nice. Your points are not too bad. But again, if you are that type of candidate who is relying upon 7 each, we are seeing that candidates are being invited on 8 each. Yes. So again, when it comes to this particular occupation, we are again seeing that candidates who are claiming skilled partner points are getting the invitation prior to the single applicant. This is how the process works anyhow. So I'll probably say we might have to wait depending upon how many seats. Now we had invitation round being held today itself, where we are seeing candidates being invited on 90 points, 85 points. But again, you are holding a nice package, but points, if you can try and go up to 85 to 90, that would be better.
Thank you, Kamaljeet, for answering the question. And moving on, we just go on to the next question is from Syed. And he says, my profession is OT ICS cybersecurity consultant. Can I do my assessment through Engineers Australia, since I have 7 years of experience as an instrumentation and control system engineer?
And he says, in order to become an OT cyber consultant, one needs to work as an instrumentation control system engineer. Hence, this is a close related profession. I would be great if you can advise the most suitable occupation. See, first of all, Sayed, the question rises here is when you are going through a skill assessment process, what kind of qualification you are holding is the very first question, rather than we start jumping onto the occupation or the employment. So if you are holding engineering background and you believe that you are having work experience on the basis of engineering, then we can proceed further. Looking at your occupation, cybersecurity consultant is more related to IT sector. So if you are like holding engineering background and you have got, let's say, for example, bachelor's of engineering, and you've got 4 years plus of experience, in IT sector, you may be eligible for skill assessment as well. So it's all both factors will kick in, what kind of occupation we are holding and what kind of work experience we are holding before we can start getting the skill assessment done.
Thank you, Kamaljeet. And I would just add on, because it's a pretty long question, and there's a lot of factors that need to be considered before we can give you a definite answer. We would just like to tell you that if you can visit us, at our office, or contact us through an email, and send all the documentations and your references. So obviously we can have a look at it and study your case, and then advise you, what is the best possible options for you and how can you proceed further. All right. So guys, that was a very sort of a basic with questions. So we were actually trying to discuss a lot of possible changes coming in the future, but due to the high demand of questions we had to answer, so I think that was not possible to actually complete it. So but like we'll obviously have a few more sessions in the future where we will discuss what we could not due to the time constraint, and I hope those who have found the answers, and if anybody has any more queries, just keep your eye on our website and see when we're having a next session. And obviously we will be grateful if you want to join in, and so that we can help you out. And thanks, Kamaljeet, for answering all the questions. And that's it for today. I think everyone just have a good evening and
have a nice day, guys. And yes, every Wednesday we are trying our very best to come live on Facebook and all of the social media platforms, just to help people like yourself. We always recommend to meet a registered migration agent when we are proceeding for a migration purpose. So hopefully this session might have educated you a little bit more on your own situation. We got a little bit busy with the comments. We were supposed to go through a migration program review, which we'll be doing next week again on Wednesday. And hopefully we'll be educating you on what changes we are expecting to kick in coming a couple of months. Until then, guys, have a nice